Hi everyone. I just finished my session of Jiu-Jitsu. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and I will continue today this series where we are visiting residents of Dubai and we are asking them about their experience in their communities, and they can share with you some advices as well. Let's go.
Today I'll visit Lucas. He lives in Springs. It's a first freehold community. Lucas will share with us his experience and I'll ask him a few questions about his life as a resident in Dubai. Welcome to Springs. Hello everyone once again. Today I'm visiting Lucas. Hi Lucas.
Hello. Hi.
Lucas is my colleague and he's living in the Springs, and today he will share his experience of living in Dubai. Lucas, before we start, can you please tell me when did you move to Dubai?
Right, I can't exactly remember, but we moved to Dubai, me and a family. We moved to Dubai about 5 years ago. We just bought the house last year, so we bought in February last year. Moved from Motor City.
Okay. In Motor City, did you rent or
Yeah,
you
we
own the
rented,
property? You
yeah,
were
we
renting.
rented
Okay, so this is
property.
your first property in Dubai.
Yeah.
What were some alternative areas that you were considering during your research before you moved to the Springs?
Well, we really like Motor City. That was the area we considered. And then we're looking at apartment options, looking at the small properties like a villa options as well. And then if we decided that we're going to be in the sort of price range that we want to be, it seems like a nice small house would be the best option. So you have the nice place for the family. Also like the garden, the space for like your hobbies, like water sports. I can keep my kayak here as well. So that seems like a best idea. So we went for the house instead of the apartment. And then the community itself, it was a good choice for the family. So we got plenty of the parks here, swimming pools. It's quiet area as well, but close to the city as well. Loads of different schools around, so many different factors. Springs seems like a best choice for us.
But when you decided to focus on the townhouses, like there was Springs, yes, you said there are a lot of good things about this community. What was like the second area, or you decided like, let's focus only on the Springs?
Well, to be honest, there was not that many options that we considered. Many of the options were just out of the budget, so that was sort of disqualifying them. And then all the options that we consider were in the area of Motor City. So we're looking at the Arabian Ranches, Damak properties, Damak Hills, and then sort of staying in that area. But living in Motor City and then dealing with the traffic on a daily basis on Musakim Road and around Al Qudra, we thought we don't want to stay in this area. That's why we came to Springs. And there was no really other options really for like a smaller, affordable villa.
I want to highlight something that you see, there is a family with the kids. They are looking for a good townhouses within a reasonable price range, and in Dubai it's quite difficult to find something interesting. So quite often we can hear something about oversupply or like about some issues related to this.
Right.
But when it comes to the search of a specific type of the property, it's quite challenging, and it's not only related to the townhouses, as well for some good apartments and etc. May I ask you how many kids do you have?
Two kids.
2 kids, and how old are they?
8 and 6.
Just out of curiosity, how was their experience of moving to the new country, how did they like find friends over here? What is their experience with schools? Can you please share a little bit? I'm sure some families are watching us.
Sure, it was very easy. I mean, I think especially at that stage when the kids are younger, they're really adaptive, and it's easy for them to to accept the new environment and accept the changes as well. So when we moved here to Dubai, my daughter was just before 1 year old, the younger daughter, right? So they don't mind. They
don't feel the difference.
Yeah, they don't really feel the difference. So it was very easy. They adapt very quickly. So there was no problem with that. And then even changing the communities, of course they start making friends at school and this around the area. But even when we moved to Springs, they quickly find new friends here. Just the park is just across the street. So they go there every day to play. They have loads of friends around, and that's one of the good sort of reasons that we move here. It's really quiet, it's safe. I don't mind if they go to the park by themselves. They know the way around. There's no traffic, so that's the safety issue. They have loads of friends here that can play with. So yeah, it was fine. And another good option is there's loads of schools around the Springs. Right? So if you got kids in the different schools, like I will go to the British school, there's a choice around. There's loads of different places. And they're very close as well. So they go to the Jumeirah Park, which is just a 5 minutes drive from here. So it's very convenient, very easy as well. You don't have to deal with this sort of school traffic too much as well. So yeah, they're happy. A lot of schools around here, they will be sort of in that mid-range, I would say, or maybe all of the higher range that you have to pay. But there's schools, cheaper schools in Jebel Ali as well, which are not far from here as well, more affordable. Schools can go from 20,000 dirhams to 100,000 dirhams.
Okay, so we are right now inside the unit, and Lucas, you changed in your townhouses the bathroom, the tiles, and the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So it's completely renovated. It wasn't like this over here. Can you please tell me what did you change here? What was here before?
Well, we changed quite a bit, right? So there was an old kitchen in this space. There was a door in this space here as well.
So there was entrance to the kitchen?
Yeah, that was the entrance to the kitchen. So we extend the storage that was behind the door. So we closed that space, extend the kitchen area as well. There was a little island here, which we removed, and it gives you a little bit more space inside the house. A little bit easier flow between the kitchen and the living room. I mean the retile, we've done the tiles on the floor and put a completely new kitchen, new tiles, changed the lights on the ceiling as well a little bit here. So yeah, it's pretty simple, but it changed the house completely. Right?
Yeah.
So actually the work is still going on. So like we're still doing work upstairs for the bathrooms. So it's a process, right? It's a long process. But I think the benefit is that you get what you like, so that's the main thing. And then you can adjust the budget, to the way you like to spend it as well, then rather than just going into the property and maybe paying for something you don't really like as well.
So how long did it took to change the kitchen, to remove the entrance from there? So all this is.
This was our week time, but it was a bigger process before we actually move into the property. So we bought a house and we knew we were going to have to renovate. So before we actually move in, we start work already. Yeah, so we start changing the tiles, remove the kitchen as well. And actually when we move in, for 1 or 2 weeks, we didn't have a kitchen at all. Because we knew we were going to have a new kitchen, but sort of the timing wasn't quite there. So we removed the old kitchen with the tiles and renovation, but then wait for another probably week or two for the new kitchen to arrive.
Lucas, can you please give me an idea how much approximately did you spend on renovation of the kitchen?
Right, so this is IKEA kitchen. And with appliances and everything included, we spent about 30,000 for the kitchen itself.
I think it's such a good investment in the property. Even if somebody is doing like a resale, if you change your kitchen, you can ask more than 30,000, right?
I think you have to be smart what you're doing, and I think if you plan it right and you know what you're doing as well, and you have some like good ideas, then you can, I think, make it on a quite low budget and still make it, you know, looking.
And what about the tiles? Do you remember approximately, or it was like
I can't remember exactly. The tiles are, again, they're not very expensive tiles. I think in a smaller property like this, it doesn't really make sense to spend huge amounts of
not the marble floor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because it just doesn't add up and doesn't make sense. But I think the tiles they cost about 50 dirhams per square meter.
It's difficult to calculate, but anyway, I guess you can do it if you're interested. Lucas, and you have a very nice pet as well over here. How difficult is it to have a pet in Dubai? Even though it's quite unusual.
Right, so we don't really have a lot of experience. It's a new addition to the family. So we didn't want to. I think there's a benefits of having a pet, especially with the kids. That you know they learn a lot of things from it. We didn't want to go too big with the pet. So the dog would be great, but it's a little bit too much of a problem. And the nanny is allergic to the dog, so we couldn't do that. We didn't want to change the nanny as well. So, it seems like the rabbit was a good fit, and the timing was right. There was a rabbit looking for a home, and we were ready, I think. So, we adopted Lucy. It's pretty easy so far. It's not many problems. It's quite an enjoyable experience, I would say. I think it's a great time to buy the property now. That's for sure. And in a position that you can move from renting to owning, I think that's a perfect. When we moved to Dubai, that wasn't the case. You know, the properties were at the peak. So we couldn't. We sold the house in the UK, and we moved here. So we had some money saved, but the properties were very, very high at that time. So we didn't really look into buying property then. But then when the prices dropped, it seems like
so this market gave you an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Can you please share some advices to people who are considering to move to the Springs? At what they should pay attention to, what they should avoid? Maybe you know that like your neighbors are complaining about something. There is maybe some issues that only the residents know about.
There's no really problems in the area. So, the only issue I would say is the traffic next to the school, which is on the way to the Sheikh Zayed Road from Springs 1 and 2. But that's that's very specific for those two springs.
Springs 1 and 2.
Yeah, and then only at the school time, right? So that will sort of limit the options of getting out from Springs. But then other than that, it's really good. I think you've got the access to Sheikh Zayed Road or Arcade Road. You can choose between the two. You know, it's very convenient that way. I can't really complain too much. Main problem is the house itself that you need to sort of update. But as a community, Emaar is pretty good with updating the community, and you can see things going on in the area all the time. They will do like events on the weekends for the residents. They will update some things around the community. They put loads of lights on the streets, for all the pantries. All the pantries are light out at night, which is really nice as well. So they're taking good care of it. I think that's the important thing to look at the good developer when you're buying property, right? And then just like the basics of the property, if it's nice location, if it's the right price, if it's the right size for you, so that's the main thing.
But mankind won't be destroyed. The fact that you and I are working here today is evidence of that.
Well, it's a garage, so it's the front of the house. You're coming in. That was one of the reasons we decided to go for the townhouse instead of the apartment. That you've got that convenience, right? You're coming in with your shopping, right? You just drive in, it's the same level, you just go inside the
Oh,
house.
it's such a good point. Yeah, when you're coming with the shopping, yeah, it's really convenient.
When you have a family, kids, it's all about convenience, right? So you want it as smooth as it can be, right? So yeah, you're coming in, you keep stuff here, you've got the kayak here, the cars are staying here, you've got access to the house from the back as well, and then there's another entrance from the side. One of the reasons we chose this house as well, it was that extra space outside the house as well. So if you have a guest, you can park your car there easily, and also it just gives you a little bit more spacious feeling here around the house as well. So when we bought the house, we specifically bought this one because of the location and this sort of little benefits. The park is just across the road from here. You've got a little bit more space outside the house as well, so you pay premium for that, but then enjoy the benefits.
Yeah, guys, you will never be able to fit kayak in the apartment if you like it. And
Exactly.
Lucas have as well a lot of bicycles outside of the townhouse as well. It's very difficult to find a place. Lucas, thank you so much for your time. It was very interesting. And guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. And we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Right.